Here's a beat up, dirty Zenith. I believe this is a model either 318 or X318 or 316. It's from around 1967. Probably one of the last tube radios that Zenith cranked out. And it's pretty beat up and dirty. Little blue radio, AM, FM. I believe this is a 6 or 7 tube model. And I happen to have 2 of these radios. One of them was a blue cabinet and one of them with sort of a white, and I guess you want to call this off-white or antique white, almond, or whatever you want to call it, cabinet. And they both have different problems, both have different issues, but we'll try to work on that one a little bit later here. And this one here, I guess I'll go ahead and get started with this one. Well, let's turn it on and see what happens. Do have vacuum tube illumination, it looks like. A little bit of static from the speaker. We're on AM. But I'm getting no reception. No reception on AM, just a bunch of static. Let's try FM. I don't even hear any static on here. And FM appears to be totally dead. Yep, FM is dead. And AM is just about the same way. So let's pull the back off of it and get to work on it. And here's the chassis with the back cover removed. And I was just looking at this audio output tube here. You can see that it's dirty and beat up, but this appears to have a date code of the 43rd week of 1966 with a factory code of 188, which I believe, I'm not 100% on that, but I believe that indicates GE factory in Owensboro, Kentucky. But anyway, the 43rd week of 1966 nonetheless. And here's another date code on the side of this FM IF can right here. That's the 26th week of 1966.
Will gladly testify.
Well, I cleaned the tube sockets and got AM back on here. I don't think it's very good, but I believe we got AM back. I'm not picking up any other stations but the one that's right up the street. But that's an improvement over what we had before. There's 1290. Barely pick it up. Yeah, this thing is still not up to snuff though. And FM still sounds dead. Yep, it's totally dead. So, still got a little work to do, but you know, at least we got some AM action back. Well, this is the first time I've ever encountered a silver mica in a Zenith, but that's kind of what it seems like it's going on here. Let me show you what's going on here. I've obviously got the chassis removed and the speaker leads clipped over to the speaker, and we're playing on AM. You can hear the crackling. All of a sudden it comes in. Take a screwdriver and tap here. Now I definitely saw a spark come from here. Did you see that spark? If you tap it, just tap it with a screwdriver, it'll spark. This is sparking here. If you tap it, you hear it change. Yeah. I think we got a bad IF can. Probably should go in there and change that capacitor out. Okay, it's playing again.
Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Now that's eternal good news, found in Isaiah chapter 1.
There it goes again. All you gotta do is aggravate it a little bit and it stops. That's about it. Boy, look at the Zenith IF cans. Look at all those little fine wires. It's like it's stranded wires, and you have that rivet in the bottom that goes inside this tube. Yeah, these things were never ever meant to be serviced. So you got your mica sheet under here. Got to be under this little piece here, and it's held in by that rivet. Nothing but plastic. Although I've seen very little trouble with, you know, per se Zenith IF cans, I believe at this stage tube radios were an old idea, and all the manufacturers were just cheapening out on these things and making them out of parts because there were, you know, these type of plastic parts. Because I mean, let's face it, these radios were not designed to last this long. Okay, so I've got this can disconnected with all the wires disconnected, and here's the base, and what I'm getting is when I hook to these legs, I'm getting about anywhere from 15 to 20 picofarad. Did have a spike one time as high as 25 picofarad. So, but it's really dependent on wiggling this rivet and pushing down on this, because it's without any pressure on it, you're just not getting a capacitance reading. And most of the time, like I've said in prior videos, whenever you try to whenever you try to take a capacitance reading from these IF cans, it's usually not very reliable because the capacitor is usually the issue. And trying to get a reading off of a capacitor that's, you know, failing on you is usually not a good way to get a reading. But I'm going to see if I can find the schematic for this radio and see if it lists a value. I don't think this one did. I think I remember looking at this before and it didn't, but I'll take another look at it. But as of right now, I'm getting about 15 to 25 picofarad off of this thing. So here's the micro wafer, and boy, this thing is just, it doesn't look too terribly bad, but this corner here, that thing is just burned in half right there. And here's the top side of it. We've got that little burn piece there, which was what matched up to it. So yeah, I don't think this capacitor was any good anymore. Okay, here's our IF can, or transformer, put back together. We'll put it back in the can and put it back in the radio.
To get that young's haircut. And she went to crying. She said, you think about me? He don't even have respect for his kinfolks at the funeral. I said, well, bless God, cut that young's hair so you can tell the difference between a girl and a boy. Why, he had locks down here, and it wasn't him, it's his old mammy that wanted those locks. Say amen. Bless God, it's these people, and listen, these plans, and Jesus said you'll be betrayed by your kinfolk. But then he said, number 4, he said you'll be betrayed by your friends. And I think that's the biggest surprise. If an enemy would stand outside, and the liquor crowd does, and the gambling crowd does stand against us. But when you wake up one morning, and that surprise of that knife, of that so-called friend, brother, that's the big surprise. Betrayal is a big surprise. Secondly, there's the bitter cup of betrayal. You'll never drink a cup like that. I want to tell you the dregs of the cup of...
Alright, we got our can installed with our capacitors. We use the variable caps to tune in and get our values, which on this IF can, I was surprised. It was actually the correct value on this was actually pretty high. It was 220. 220 seemed to do the job. 220 picofarad, which is a lot higher than the 100 that a lot of people claim it is, and I've even used myself. But 220 is what I got off my capacitance measurement. So we installed those, and seems to be working good now. We have AM and FM back, so things seem to be working like they should. We're on AM right now. This is 1290 right here in town, so turn that light off here.
To see a change if they said they professed they wanted peace? I want peace. The Palestinians should stop paying terrorist murderers. That's the way to go get to peace.
That's the station you heard a minute ago with the really soul preacher on there. So they're playing music now.
And memorable moments.
And these stations are kind of weak now. This is just off this ferrite bar antenna.
And now prepare to play and to receive.
Camera must be interfering with it. Still not a whole lot. Let's go to FM.
Lord, they have embraced this little glimmer of evidence and
it's on kind of a rigged up antenna right now, so doesn't seem like it's really picking up a whole lot.
Yamaha EX Series waveform. Manufacturer suggested retail price does not include prep, freight, or...
Okay, we've been playing for, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. And so we took the cabinet in and cleaned it up. It was pretty nasty. And we'll have to, the way this dial's set up, I'm going to have to leave it like that until I get it lined up with the position on the tuning capacitor. So anyway, we got that all cleaned up and it's been playing for about a half an hour with no problems. I did make a modification because of this crack, which is a heat crack from the tubes. You can see where it kind of deformed the plastic there, probably from the audio output tube. It's the hottest tube in the set. So what we did was we put a little foil tape on the top there to hopefully deflect some of that heat going to the top of the set. So I think with this, everything seems to be working okay. We're going to go ahead and put it back in the cabinet here and see what it should look like. All right, we're back together playing. This is on FM.
On the remix. Hey, you'll be coming back to me. I always worry about the...
And community broadcaster stations help us reach the customers we want.
For everything.
4, 6, and 2 for the Gamecocks. 1. Day.
Hey, law offices of Carrot, Zaluga, 1320 Main Street.
Go over to AM. Turn this light off. Just got a little ferrite bar antenna.
By my Kennedy Babylon Book Tour. If you're looking for VIP tickets to any of my Kennedy Babylon shows across New England, good news, we've opened up extra VIP seats. Right now at HowieCarShow.com, you can
Derby Day. And the greatest display on one person
As it says in you know where to get the dig is a free service. Do you know what isn't free? When utility companies charge you to repair the lines you damaged while digging. Do your due diligence to stay safe, protect the underground infrastructure, and follow the law. Call
on-air talent, quote unquote, and staffers and producers. This is down in Bristol, Connecticut. I hate to see anybody lose their job, but been looking for it for a long time. Or they
all right, here's my 1967
just the guys who actually
Zenith X316
Anyway, also at
B
Babylon,
for blue.
Howie Car Show. You can order my book.
Play it again.
Babylon. It's available
Thanks for watching.
everywhere, or you can order it on Amazon.com. It's a